Thank you for joining us on this final day of this work week, Friday. And today we're looking at Ezra chapter 9. Ezra chapter 9 is a time in which Ezra had come, and the princes had come to the land. The princes came to him, and they said in verse 1, "The people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abomination." And the people groups were mentioned. "For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and the rulers have been chief in this trespass." Here we are again. After the wonderful captivity, or the wonderful deliverance from captivity had been accomplished, they had been brought back to the land after the 70 years that Jeremiah had prophesied, and God had delivered them through the Medo-Persian Empire and allowed them to build the temple, and then Nehemiah had come to build the walls. Just tremendous deliverances. The people of Israel do exactly what they did all the way along. You go all the way back to Moses and the people in Egypt, through the wilderness into the land. You go to the book of Judges, you see it again. You go through the kings, up and down the people go. Finally, it got so bad, God had to have the northern kingdom go into captivity to Assyria, the southern kingdom eventually to Babylon. And now they're doing the same thing. And they were not separating themselves from the people. Now, you got to understand, separation is not that we isolate ourselves from people that need to hear the truth. We do not look to the world system to meet our needs, and we do not live like them in disobedience to the Word of God. And so the people of Israel were to be distinctive people, following the law, trusting in God, having their sacrificial system, looking to the Messiah to come. All of this was how they should live. But again, they had just gotten corrupt. And when it talks about marrying the people, it meant that they were also then incorporating themselves into the worship of the land. And here's Ezra's response. "And when I heard this thing, I rent my garment and my mantle and plucked off the hair of my head and of my beard, and I sat down astonished." And then also everyone with him trembled. This is the kind of response that I think God's people need today. He didn't just say, "Oh, well, here we go again." No, he realized that somebody had to pray. Somebody had to be disturbed. Somebody had to agree with God. Somebody had to call upon God for his power. Somebody had to be a leader for the other people to understand that this was abhorrent to God. And if this didn't turn around, Israel would be destroyed again. You know, there are times when God's people ought to truly get the heart of God. You know, during this time, Ezra was not encouraged in what was going on, but he was encouraged in that he had the heart of God at that point. In other words, life was making sense because he was doing right. And friends, even though we may be happy about how the election turned out, America is doing exactly what Israel did, and I should say American Christians are. And we need to be broken in this day and to not sit back and think everything's okay. This is an opportunity for us to ask God for revival among his people and to truly have the heart of God. We cannot be fully encouraged until we get on God's side. And may we learn from this example of Ezra to have the heart of God, to be broken and then go to God and believe him for real victory. And there'll be an encouragement because God's going to encourage your heart that he's going to do it if we will seek his face.